Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Plat. Purplatypus is the name, and welcome to another unit review. Today we're doing Dragon Slime. Now, I think I finally have a structure that I'm happy with for these videos. Really quick before we jump into the unit review, I'm just kind of go over what I'm thinking the structure will be. And basically, you guys let me know if you like it. And let me know if you think I should make changes. But basically what I'm going to do is go over the stats, go over their first awakening. Most awakenings are going to be identical as you go down, but the first awakening is unique to each monster. Go over abilities, go over their resistances, suggest equipment, suggest teammates, do a quick demo of their abilities in a fight of some kind. And then I will give you my personal opinion, and I will let you know if I think it's worth grinding / pulling for, and then I will give it a 0 to 10 rank. I don't know if I'll ever give anything a 0 because I don't know, maybe there are some 0 units, but that's basically what the structure is going to be. I'm going to try to keep the videos under 10 minutes. This one may fail because I've spent a minute doing nothing so far besides talking about it. But without further ado, let's jump in. I don't have this unit max, so we're not going to be looking at my personal one. We are going to be looking at, if you go for A&S units, you can go to the party meetup. If you go to the, let me just show you, just in case you guys don't remember, you guys can always go check this out. You go to swap shop, you go to special, you go down to party member meetup, and then you're going to find the unit you want. In A, we're going to go Dragon Slime, and in the top right corner, you can see max level stats. So, Dragon Slime, 612 HP, 270 attack, 214 defense, 330 agility, 188 wisdom. And 4 movement. So 4 movement is the best I've ever seen, right? There's many units with 4 movement. That is huge. That adds a lot of versatility to a unit. That's twice the movement of most units in the game, so that's huge. Agility 330, really high. That's good. They're going to be not going faster than literally everything out there, but a unit with high movement and high agility, and with some of these abilities that we have, is a good combination. Defense, kind of low. Wisdom, pretty low. Attack, not amazing. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. Like when you have like there's some other units that can break 400 attack. This is definitely on the lower end, but not like ridiculous. So what's their first awakening here? First awakening is crack type breath potency 10%. Not much. And as you see, the reason I'm not going over all the potencies is because they're all basically the same as you go down for all units. Each one comes with the stats up. Number 2 comes with the resistance. Number 3 is like a slight damage up. Number 4 is more resistance, and then number 5 is slight damage up. Number 1 is usually the one unique to the unit, but maybe it's more S units in this because that's obviously nothing that crazy. So if we go over to the abilities, actually, let's just quickly check the resistance really quick. Very weak to Frizz, very weak to Zam, but heavy resistance to Crack and Bang. I don't like weakness to Frizz because a lot of people are going to have like Dragon Lord and WK, right, White King or whatever. I think they do like Frizz damage. I guess I don't know. I don't have those units actually. I tend to not like Frizz weakness. It's felt like Frizz weakness has been kind of not that good. Super weak to sleep is not ideal, but you don't have to worry about that as much in general when you're playing PvE stuff. Although I'm currently working on Zam Hell, and this unit is not, this is like the most unsuited unit for that I've ever seen, but that's not really important to its overall versatility. So let's go over abilities. This is where, well, let's just go over it. Basically, they got a weak-ass breath attack, cool air, deal minor cracked breath damage to all enemies in an area of effect. Okay, minor crack damage is a breath, so you know it sucks. That attack is unusably bad pretty much ever. You'll probably, honestly, auto-attack more than you'll do this with a 270 attack. And let's skip right down to the third ability here. Deals moderate crack type breath damage to all enemies. I actually don't know how strong this is because I haven't really ranked or used this guy in that many fights. But it has the same wording as Inferno, and Inferno on Green Dragon is really good and really strong. So there is possibility that this is a good attack, but breath attacks are usually garbage, but there's a few good breath attacks out there, so this one might be one of those, but it is 57 MP. I bet this attack is decent, but not great. You're going to be using Ting more than anything else, basically all the time. Deals a moderate crack type martial damage. Martial damage is particularly good. I mean, it's not good. Like, you'd rather have physical or something, or magic, or make this a spell. But if you're going to have breath or martial, and that you're on a slime, you're going to want martial. A lot of slime stuff synergizes with martial damage. A lot of this goes really good with queen slime, believe it or not. Queen slime can like increase the crack martial damage of abilities and stuff. Like really, just really good, specifically in slimes that have martial. If you're looking at martial or breath as having to have it, but deal moderate crack type martial damage to all enemies in an area of effect. So this has a range of 2. And it does, so it's basically the same range as boom, right? Or bang or kaboom. It has that kind of range, and it does the plus just like them. But instead of just dealing damage, rarely paralyzes. That is huge, especially with you're hitting in a plus. This is like real, and it's also really easy to position for this with 4 movement. This ability is very good. Now, how rarely is rarely? I don't know, but if you're going to plus 10 an ability on this guy, definitely do Ting, all right? Ting is the bread and butter of this unit. If something's immune to paralysis, or they're immune to crack or whatever, like, not immune, but super resistant, this may not be super good, but, like, this guy has the chance to paralyze multiple units. It's actually going to be pretty nuts. Also, let me quickly... I forgot to put this on Do Not Disturb, so I was getting notifications. All right. So that's the abilities. As far as equipment that I recommend on this guy, honestly, maybe, like, let's take a look here. Ting costs 30. You can already cast that an infinite amount of times. I think it doesn't really matter what you do. When someone's a CC'er like this and they're knocking around a mana, you don't really care that much. And martial damage, it doesn't scale with your attacks, so you don't really care. So I would say HP, defense, and if you need it, then agility. But you probably won't need agility that much, but I would prioritize HP number 1, defense number 2, and then agility number 3. And so a good piece of equipment for HP is there's a lot of just swords, you know, there's a lot of good swords. The new slime sword's pretty good, but it might be kind of wasted on this guy if you're going to have something like a slime heart. But if you only have this guy in your party, the slime sword could definitely be very good. As far as teammates, this is like pretty easy. Let's go ahead and actually go over here because I do have this unit. Let's go to edit a party. We'll go ahead and edit this team right here. I don't know what this team's doing. Do I know what this team's doing? I don't. They probably weren't doing anything. All right. So, obviously, we're going to try to not only use S units, but let's take a look here. If we look at Queen Slime, we have got raises slime martial potency by 20%, right? Just more damage. Really good. Also, not to mention that she also does crack martial damage just like this. So, if you're fighting enemies that are weak to crack, this is really good just in general because you're doubling up on this, you know. They're very synergistic in that way. So obviously Queen Slime would be a great leader, but I mean I think that kind of goes without saying. Let's go and throw. I mean they're in the same banner, right? I bet a lot of units in the same banner are probably pretty good teammates. Let's bring our Dragon Slime up here. Yep. Really, just like a lot of slime units and things that can tank for it. Emperor Slime is probably pretty good, but what's a good? I actually really like this guy. This guy's like another tank form. So if you're able to, especially if like you're able to have units just kind of be focused on a different unit, this unit can kind of come in and just try to paralyze them again and again until it works, and then you could really whale in some damage. Also, because paralysis is just pretty good in general, I say we get a caster in the back. One of the best slime casters is going to be this guy right here. And honestly, I think these are going to be, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but it's very synergistic with a lot of slimes. But also, if you want, there might be a guy that, I actually don't know if there's a leadership ability that decreases enemies' paralysis resistance. If that does exist, that's something you would definitely want. But that's not something I'm just familiar with right now. But I bet there's something like that that either does exist or will exist, right? Because Hell Gladiator has the minus 50% to poison resistance. And so if you can find something that lowers paralysis resistance, that would be huge. Because there are a lot of things immune to paralysis. All right, so let's go ahead and go into a fight. I actually had the perfect fight for this, too. We're going to go to the Slime Festival event. We're going to go hard, Chapter 1-1. I don't think it's very hard. It does cost 6 stamina, but you know what? You guys are worth it. And so this is a perfect fight because we get to go first. And there's like 9 units all lined up, or 8 units all lined up. Yeah, it's perfect. Look, we can actually hit a full 5. So, you can only use 3 units in this fight? No, the other ones are up there. Okay. So, our slime's actually going to be going second. He can get right into position. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can get right where he wants. Let's put it on fast. Yeah. Queen Slime ain't going to be doing shiznit. She's going to sit right here, have fun. This is not to show them off. So let's get Ting. So these guys all resist it, but it's actually quite nice. Oh, look, we actually kill people with our physical attack, and we don't with Ting because they resist it. So if we come here, we can see it has the same range as Boom, and it hits in the full plus. I didn't want it to kill them, which is good, which is why this is a perfect fight. So let's take a look. Out of the 5 we hit, we did paralyze one of them. Let's take a look if they have any resistance here. They don't have any resistance, so I do think leveling up, like if we take a look here, the paralysis doesn't actually get more likely to happen, but just the very fact that you have it, right? Like, we did get 1 out of the 5, and paralysis is incredibly powerful. And so this is something that I think is going to be particularly good against some boss fights. A lot of times when you're doing like ability hell stuff, you don't really want you don't really want things that are random have a chance. Like, even though like Pickle Slime, for example, is really good, and I'm trying to do Zam Hell right now, and Pickle Slime's Confusion is like really good if it hits, because it doesn't hit 100% of the time, and it might even hit 50 or less % of the time because nothing's weak to it. It's not something I want to put in a guide, or I want people to have to rely on, because if it doesn't land and you have to abandon, you just threw away 20 stamina, right? And so that's kind of the same thing with this. You don't really want, I think, that kind of randomness in an ability for a for something like the Hell Passes. But for certain boss fights and for clearing content that doesn't really require, or something that you could just do a lot of, like if it's a fight where you have a big tanky beefy front line and like a caster in the back, this can be like a good secondary caster in the back that's also trying to do some CC while it's dealing damage. So there's definitely uses for that unit, and that Ting ability is really good. It just, because of the RNG of it, I think it's going to be best suited for PvP fights. Look at that. We even almost get an awakening out of that. I'm supposed to be farming these, but man, I'm trying to make content. It's just so hard to find the stamina to farm these when I got to level abilities and stuff to make these budget teams work. Anyway, so my personal opinion on Dragon Slime, I don't love him. I don't hate him. I think he's good, but I just don't love him, and I just don't hate him. Let's pull him back. We'll actually pull up mine right now, see where mine's at. I actually don't even know what level mine's at. It might be max level, actually. Yeah. Never really use it, but it's level 90. I think this unit's really good. 4 movement, great agility, and the ability to paralyze in a goddamn perfect world 5 units, which will never happen, but hypothetically it's possible. But able to put paralysis while dealing decent damage, not incredible, but decent damage. With, again, same insane movement. Good unit. I think it's a good unit. And sometimes, if you're on the good side of variance, it's going to be insane. But I have a little bit of a damper on it because of how much I like King Bubble Slime, how much I like Pickle Slime, which are both A units, and they're free. This unit you have to pull for, which definitely brings it down a notch in my mind. But it is pretty synergistic with Queen Slime. If you have a team, if you have like some fight you're trying to win where things are weak to crack, Dragon Slime, Queen Slime is a fucking fantastic combo. They're going to be doing a lot more damage than they would normally. So he's a good unit. I think he's worth pulling for, but don't invest a lot, honestly. He's good, but I don't know how many team comps he's actually going to make. Not when there's things like I just think there are things that do what he does a bit better. I mean, there's no one that does the AoE paralysis like he does, I'll admit. Not in the way that he does it. But because the ability gets stronger without getting apparently a higher chance to inflict paralysis, definitely makes it a bit weaker. But overall, good unit. Is it worth it? At the rank, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think this one people might disagree with. It's possible that I misunderstand why this unit could be way better. But I think it's more just like a cool unit. It's a good unit. Ting is really, really cool, but with the % chance of, like, we hit 5 slimes, right? And only one of the 5 got paralyzed. That means theoretically, if you're fighting one guy that's not immune to paralysis, if you're hitting something like if you have to hit that unit 5 times to get paralysis on it, and you're not doing that much damage each time, then the unit looks kind of silly. You'd rather have a caster doing actual damage at that point. Or some sort of, like, you know, killing machine or something, just destroying units instead of doing light damage and trying to do it. However, I will say this unit gets way, 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 way better to the point of being broken if there is a leadership ability on par with Hell Gladiator that reduces enemies' resistance to paralysis by 50%. Suddenly, this thing is not rarely paralyzes. It's like frequently, you know. If you can hit 3 units and paralyze all 3 of them, you've won that fight, you know. What are they going to do against that? So this could be an auto win with the right leader that comes out. So that's one reason why I do think it's worth pulling and getting one of at least and getting them up, because you don't really need a bunch of stats or damage on them. You really care about the paralysis, the huge movement and paralysis, which are both included when you have this unit even at base stats. So that's overall what my rank is, what my view is, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know how you like this new structure. If you like it, dislike it. I'm going to try to get these under 10 minutes, or right around 10 minutes. This one's a little bit longer, so maybe 15 minutes is more of a realistic goal. Anyway, Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you guys next time.